Hello. Welcome to another edition of Tea with Karen. Except I'm not Karen, and I'm certainly not drinking tea. I'm Carl. So technically this is a Coffee with Carl. I've hijacked this channel. Hey guys. Yes, Coffee with Carl. That's right. Well, actually, I haven't hijacked the channel. Karen asked, she's out in the house doing the Karen stuff. I don't know what she's doing, to be honest. Maybe making tea. She's asked me to read some stuff. She's written down on a piece of paper, so I'm going to do that. Hello, I'm Carl, Karen's better half, and welcome to Coffee with Carl, aka Tea with Karen, her 18th chat session. Karen's making a cup of tea, so she has left me with this intro to read to you. Read aloud. Babe, just read what I wrote and don't say anything silly, please. Love you, the wife. To catch up on all the past tea sessions, go to www.teawithkaren.com. Yes. Thank you for tuning in to our Comic-Con at Home panel last week. So much fun. Links to watch for those of you who missed it will be posted today. More. Arrow. New Tea with Karen challenge posted. All the details in my stories. Oh, it's a lot. Number 4. Time to amplify melanated voices. That's new for me. Some of our favorite profiles that we've come across this past week are from the creative community at Star Andrews 2001. That's at STARRANDREWS 2001. Her recent post of her figure skating to Black Like Me is so beautiful. She's so crazy talented. One of the very few black women on international figure skating circuit. And then we have at Black Curious Project, which is at BLACKIRISPROJECT, which champions new black-centric works and arts education and inspiring profile. Give them a follow. Anyway, now, the reason I'm really here is because I'm here to introduce you to... I'm a huge fan. I'm a bit nervous now, actually. Let's see if he's on. It's Colin Farrell!
No, Carl, I'm
Colin
clearly...
Farrell!
No, I'm not. I'm clearly not Colin Farrell.
Oh, my God.
Wait,
Well,
you know,
that's what they all say. Colin Farrell. I have
but
so many
you
questions.
know, okay.
Can I ask you one thing? Let's see. I have so many. Here's one. Here's one. Ask you. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had porridge oats with protein powder.
Porridge. Cool. Okay. What else? What? If you could be a huge famous actor, who would you be? I mean, I don't know. Colin Farrell. Look.
I'd be Colin Farrell probably.
Obviously.
What are you doing?
Talking to Colin Farrell.
Carl, I'm not.
That's not Colin Farrell. You're wearing the wrong T-shirt.
That's Colin Farrell.
No. Have you lost your mind?
He's Irish.
That's your best friend. You know the bromance that you started back when we were filming Once Upon a Time? That's Colin O'Donoghue.
No, but that's another Colin. This
Babe,
is Colin
don't
Farrell.
make me look bad.
Carl,
What you wearing? See, you got them mixed up.
No, I was going to introduce Colin O'Donoghue later.
Well, no, he hasn't. There, look, he is wearing.
There you go.
It's a
There you
little
go.
small for me now, but
See?
That is way too small. That's my shirt, actually.
It's mine now.
No, it's not. It's mine. What's
Well, it looks good on you, Carl. I'm not going to lie.
I tell you what, after I don't know how many weeks now locked up in a house in a pandemic, this doesn't fit me anymore.
Was that not the worst intro
Terrible.
ever?
Terrible.
Guys.
It was pretty. Look, I was impressed. I thought it was very, very good. I thought
No one's ever going to want to have tea with me ever again. You're never going to want to have tea with me ever again because that intro...
No, I want to have tea with Carl from now on. That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I should just step to the side then. I knew this was going to happen. Everyone warned me that if I let him do the intro, then you just want to chat with him.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
That's how you lose followers, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm sorry about that. I should go. I have to go introduce Colin Farrell on something. So
On something else.
nice to see you, man.
Did you want
Nice to see you, Carl.
He misses you more.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
Catch you later.
Are you done?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll let you get on. I don't want to take up more of your valuable time.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so kind. Oh, my gosh. It's so
There you
good
go.
to see you.
And you too. And you too. How are you? I have my cup of tea here.
You got your cup of tea.
Ready
What
to
tea
go.
are you drinking?
I've got chamomile tea in here.
Oh, you're so good. Well, I hope you're impressed. I'm drinking Barry's.
Are you indeed? Very
Barry's
good.
tea. I order it from back home to make sure that, and I have to admit, I'm not saying this because you're Irish and because I love you to bits, but Barry's tea is my favorite. Even over Harrods or Fortnum and Mason's. I'll have you know.
Well, there's a big competition here between Barry's and Lion's tea. So, yeah, Lion's tea, which is really good. I'd be more of a Lion's tea person.
Really?
I do like Barry's tea, but yeah, that's the sort of competition here.
I wonder if I can get that sent over here.
I'll
Lion's.
send you some. I'll get you some. I'll get some
Will
sent
you?
over. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Have you been?
Been good. Been good. Been busy.
Just a little bit busy.
Just a little bit busy, yeah. So been good, and it's been great being at home with Helen and the kids. So yeah, all good.
Oh, how's the family? They must be loving that, you're home, and there's some blessings in disguise with all of this, with being at home.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing because last year I spent pretty much 5 months away from them, and shooting the right stuff, and it was difficult to get back because I was so busy on the show, and so it's great to have had that time to make up,
Yeah.
So
and I saw those views that you have where you live, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. There's not much of a view at the minute. It's kind of raining, so but yeah, no, it's been nice. We're lucky, we're blessed, and thankfully, I mean, apart from the last couple of weeks, but all through lockdown, the weather's been really fantastic in Ireland. So, which you can't be guaranteed of that normally. So, at least there was something good to that,
You know what I've noticed too is that since you've been home, since we were hanging out in Vancouver, I feel like your accent is even stronger now when you're back home.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It probably is a
thing.
bit stronger. Well, I've been here I haven't moved from here for 7 months now nearly, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I guess it probably is stronger. But I mean, I was playing American in the show, but and I think I came back probably with a pretty mild Irish accent, but now I'll probably play it up a little bit more now that he thinks I'm Colin Farrell as well. So I end up sounding like that, you know what I mean? I'll just have to sound like that.
It's so charming. So I mean, use it.
Yeah.
Celebrate it. How did you find doing the American accent with your role in the right stuff? Was that, I mean, Irish, they always say that Irish accents tend to be easier to segue into American accents because you roll the R's, and it's, so you've got it. You've already got a head start.
Yeah, I mean, I think my character, Gordo, Cooper is from Oklahoma. That's quite a strong accent, and you know, I didn't have much time, to be honest, to prepare to start. I sort of got cast 2 days before I had to fly over. So
That's how it always is, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So he was Southern. I tried to bring in some of the Oklahoma. I mean, I was lucky. I could always. I grew up always doing accents. I just love playing around, trying to do as many accents as I could when I was a kid and stuff like that. But you know, it's sort of, and it's also, you know, I didn't want to go down the road of doing like a Southern accent where people would sort of be more focused on thinking about the accent, like a Forrest Gumpy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Gorda sounds more like this, so I guess he's kind of like this the whole time. And,
Oh my.
yeah, so it was.
It's so funny
No,
when
for
you
me, I think it was fun. I like doing it, and I like sounding like this, I guess. Yeah.
It's so incredible how when you switch accents, it completely changes you. Completely.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it. I think it's just sort of, that's the thing that, for me, for like a character and stuff like that, I find it very difficult to act in my own accent.
Yeah.
Even if I'm playing Irish, I'd have to not be from here, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what was great about like Hook and you know, Gordo, and you know, the other things I did, like the writing stuff. It gives me a little bit of a kernel into the character that I want to play.
Yeah. And the same thing, like I forget you, because you did your British accent so well in once, and then now your Oklahoma accent, that, I mean, my gosh, you almost forget that you are Irish, that you do have that charming Irish accent.
I know I'm Irish.
Underneath.
I'll be Jesus, I'm Irish, don't you worry about it.
That's never going away. No.
No, that's never gonna go.
I was watching some clips of Wizards. Not Wizards, the one before that. Hold on, I am good at this. I am.
Troll Hunters.
The Tales of Arcadia trilogy.
Yeah.
Troll Hunters. Yes, that's right. Troll Hunters.
Yeah.
Deuce, you're so charming. It's so funny because I know it's you behind the character. But what was that? It was a scene between, you were waiting on a table and you were your character Deuce was flirting outrageously in front of her boyfriend, which was so funny. And I thought, yeah, that's Colin. I mean, that's so cool. I love the hair.
That's me all over. You know, no, it was, I mean, that was great fun. It's kind of, it's funny because I started recording on Troll Hunters while we were still doing Once Upon a Time, and I think it's about 4 years ago now. I might have started on that, maybe even longer. It might even be longer. And but it was always with an idea. You know, as they sort of said, look, there's a couple of scenes here and there in Troll Hunters, and then there'll be a couple of scenes in Three Below, which is the second part of the trilogy. But we always kind of, like, Dooksy was always going to be sort of pretty much one of the main guys in Wizards, which was great because it was a great sort of tease, because people they kind of knew I was doing the voice, and they were like, who's this character in the town? Like, why is he there? And why, you know what I mean? And so that was kind of, it was fun that was the way it was going to be. And look, Wizards is it's spectacular, I have to be honest.
It looks so much fun. Oh my gosh. I just felt like that little kid just doing animation and knowing what it's like to be in the VO booth, but to be doing something that's been created by, oh my gosh, legend, Guillermo del Toro. I could just imagine the big permanent smile on your face.
It was pretty crazy when you get the scripts and it says written by Guillermo del Toro, and it's like all Dooksy and my name is all over. I was kind of like, you know, that was pretty incredible. But I mean, like, you know, from doing anime, it's so funny. You know, I think Wizards, I might have started recording Wizards maybe 2 years ago, I think, possibly. So it's just an incredible thing to think that they work on it for so long, and then you go in and you do another line, and it's completely different than acting with somebody, because you don't have anybody you're acting with. You're just saying lines, and you're reacting to something that's going on in your head. Do you know what do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just
So
you and you in the room, and your imagination, and sort of
yeah,
that inner child coming out, you know, to play is just so wonderful. I think what excites me is the idea of knowing that your kids can watch this
yeah,
at some point, and they'll be so excited knowing, hey, that's Daddy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's great. I can't wait for it to come out. I think it's coming out next on
Netflix,
a week
right?
from Saturday. Yeah, on August
August,
7th. So
I found August 7th, yeah, on
yeah,
Netflix. So that was, I mean, because I was just catching up, I was like, okay, let me go on to Colin's IMDb and see what he's up to, because every time we catch up and we meet up, I think the last time we met up, was that in Atlanta?
uh,
No, or was it during a convention? I can't remember, because I know you were filming the Dolly Parton Heartstrings.
I've got a feeling that we might have seen each other since then.
We did. Maybe it was Once Upon a Time Creation Convention, New Jersey,
New Jersey, maybe. It might
right?
have been. Although it could have been the last time was in Atlanta, maybe.
That's a while ago.
Yeah, that's a year and a half ago.
I mean,
A
how
year and
have
a
you
half ago.
survived without hanging out with I mean, you know, it's
I
tough.
know. It was tough. It was tough. I managed to get through, but it was tough. I mean, I really miss Carl, so that's what I'm
That's
sure.
the
I do
only
actually.
reason.
The thing about it is, I do actually from time to obviously I think about you, but I do obviously I think about Carl. He owes me a curry.
You don't.
I'm just mad to have his curry. You know, because we didn't get to have the one the last time I was in LA. I was supposed to call over and I had to go. That was
I know
last year. We'd arranged that we were going to meet up, and then I had to go somewhere. But yeah, so
it
you can
was a
tell him
very
that.
short trip, and I know it was such a busy work trip for you too.
Yeah,
He was already, he was gonna like do the whole 7 curry plate
but you
dish.
can tell him he better really work hard the next time wearing his Colin Farrell t-shirt. So he owes me big time the next time I come over. So
Feel free to threaten him anytime. That's
yeah,
fine. It just makes me think back to when. Do you remember when we were in Vancouver filming, and Carl came over to Vancouver for the first time,
hmm,
and we cooked curry,
yeah,
and it was so funny at the hotel apartments we were staying at, and it was so funny. I gave everyone the apartment number, but as soon as the elevator doors opened, they could just smell the curry, and they just
yeah.
better say, just follow the scent
It
wherever
was
it
beautiful.
takes you. But that was such a fun time. It just feels like yesterday that we were all together.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably. I mean, that was season 5, wasn't it? 6,
Yeah.
season 6. So
What,
yeah, I mean that's
2016? I want to say 2016, was it?
17, 17.
17. My gosh. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how
I
long
think
we've known each other. It feels so
yeah.
much longer. I
It
feel like
might be 6. Maybe it is 60. It started 2016, went into 2017. That
that's
was
it.
season 6, and then season 7 was 2017 to 2018.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Um,
do
yeah, it's a long time.
you do you do you miss Hook?
I do. I do miss. Yeah, I love playing. I love playing them. I mean, look, I was just so lucky to get to play him for so long and do so many different variations of him. And I miss. I miss the worlds that we used to create in Once Upon a Time, and the sort of. I obviously miss the cast and the crew, and
Yeah.
like it was a family for me. Like we moved everything. We had our kids over there, and you make such strong relationships. But I miss the Jolly Roger, and I miss being in all the different magical kingdoms that we went to and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
um, I do think though I was like, I've been lucky since we finished that, the Dolly Parton thing, and then with the right stuff, and I did another movie in between. They've been very different. I mean, maybe JJ Sneed was kind of similar to Hook-ish, but certainly on the right stuff, it's completely different character.
Isn't it? Do you find, like, especially my love grew for all things astronaut and NASA and rockets and all that when I read the novel October Sky. I don't know if you ever read that or saw the movie. It's such a good, the book is so wonderful, October Sky. I think, did you ever, like, growing up as a kid, you know, our fascination, especially as kids, you know, with rockets and being an astronaut, did you think that that was like sort of an inner child's dream come true when you
I mean, I loved it. I was fascinated with NASA and with the stars, and I still, like, you know, we're lucky here that on a clear night you can really see every star. And I used to just, like, sometimes when we first actually moved into the house, there's like a skylight and there's nothing around, there's no lights, whatever, and it was so clear. Helen and I just lay on the ground. We just, like, for half an hour just looked at the stars and stuff like that. And you know, it's, I don't think there's anybody really, there's very few people I think aren't fascinated by what's going on out there, you know what I mean? Because and what's great about it is it's a real mystery. Nobody knows, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of part of what was great. And you know, we got to shoot at Cape Canaveral, and we were, you know, we got our NASA credentials, and you know, trained as, we did fighter pilot training and all that kind of stuff. And you know, sort of, it's just fascinating. It's you know, sort of like a boy's dream come true, you know what I mean? Like 12-year-old me, especially within like a year and a half, I'd played a pirate, an outlaw, and then an astronaut and a fighter pilot, a test pilot. It's not, you know, I've done pretty, apart from being a Jedi, maybe that would have been.
Is that next on the bucket list?
maybe we'll wait and see.
Careful what you wish for now.
But no, I was pretty lucky, and it's just an amazing story of these guys. You know, these guys sort of, essentially they agreed to sit on top of a nuclear rocket and get sent into space when nobody had ever, at that point, nobody had ever been to space. They didn't know what physically would happen to you up there. All that kind of stuff. And you know, these guys were sitting in airplanes testing planes that nobody, like, the manuals were from their tests, do you know what I mean? So nobody had ever flown in them. That's why the ratio of test pilots who actually lived was, you know, or the number of test pilots who lived was so small, because anything could happen. If a bolt goes, bang, plane's gone, they're dead, that's it. And that's what the right stuff is all about. That's what the term is, you know, they just didn't have the right stuff, and that's why they died, you know. Just incredible men, you know. And the show sort of, it approaches it from a different, there's quite a lot more about the family side of it, and the relationships, and you know, what it means to be that type of person and be in a marriage or have kids. You know.
Yeah.
So
but then they also know it's such a, when you know that your partner is doing something that is so big, so huge, like a huge contribution to the world, it's such a fine line, you know, where you don't want to come in between the importance of what they're doing. I read, or was it you that said in an interview, I think, recently about Gordon Cooper, you said had the most solo orbits around
yeah. Yeah, still to this day, he has the most single orbits, or solo orbits, yeah. So, yeah, he was the last one to do it, so.
Colin, you're playing such a cool, badass character.
I know, yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know. He went up again then in the, I would say Gemini, but I think they pronounce it Gemini program, and they were the first. He was also the first American to spend over 24 hours, because the initial flight, Alan Shepard's first flight, only went up for 15 minutes, and they were all quite short until John Glenn did an orbit. He was the first American to do an orbit. And then Gordon Cooper was the first one to do over 24 hours maybe even longer, 48 hours, I can't remember. But then they also, on a second flight, he, I want to say Conrad, I think it's Peter Conrad is his name. They traveled the furthest. They essentially did the distance from Earth to the moon in orbit, and they spent the longest time at that point. But they also set the tone for the fact that you could spend that long in orbit to go to the moon. So that was sort of, it's pretty crazy stuff, you know.
I was just reading, because I thought of you, especially the other day. I was reading an article about NASA and how they're about to launch the Mars rover.
Yeah, I think is it tomorrow? It's this weekend,
it's tomorrow, right? Because they want to look for signs of past life and then collect any samples. Which that excites me so much. Again, the kid in me comes out, and I thought of you guys. How many episodes? Now, did you guys get affected with COVID? Did you finish?
No, we were finished by the time COVID came about. We did get affected by the hurricane, even though it didn't fully hit the way it was supposed to hit. But, you know, obviously production had to kind of be aware of that and sort of, but no, COVID, we were done. The show's finished. So, yeah, which is great. And I think it's 8 episodes.
That's what I was going to ask. Was it a total of 8? Okay. Because we only finished filming half the season, so we still have half a season to film. So there's all that now. You know, as you can imagine, all the conversations happening within all the productions and SAG, trying to navigate through this. It's so challenging. It's so difficult because with every solution, there's so many other variables that come up. So it's I just can't imagine being at the nucleus of trying to plan and navigate through this. It must be so overwhelming, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, it's just also nobody knows anything at the minute, you know.
No.
So, yeah. So it's a bit crazy. I was just glad to be home. You know, to spend time with the family and stuff like that. My dad got quite sick, so I was just glad to be here for, you know. So
how's Papa doing? Is he feeling better?
He's getting there. So yeah.
And he must be so happy that you're home, and that makes such a huge difference too.
Yeah. It just even it's nice to be home for a little while. I don't, you know, it's been a long time since I spent this long here, so. I
mean, even ask Carl. We're not used to being with each other 24/7, and we're still married, so that's good news.
I know, yeah. That's great news. Yeah, I like to think it's the tank top, does it?
Yeah.
It's the picture of me.
Yes.
I know that's the secret. That's okay. That's between you guys.
Hey, whatever helps, right? So when he gets tired, you know me, then okay, fine. I get it. I get the whole bromance thing. Okay, I get it. I'm not going to come in between that.
Well, let's not forget that it's your T-shirt.
I know but he does that. And if there's any cool T-shirt that he really loves that I have, he will try and attempt at 6'2" to try and squeeze in to a shirt that's. I'm 5'3", so it's like I'm like we're planning on you on, but he'll make it work. He'll find a way. Yeah. So, you know, he'll actually be the type to wear the hook shirt, and he'll wear it to bed. He'll wear it to the shower. You know how Carl is, so he'll do that.
I know.
That's commitment. That's friendship right there. Yeah.
Love it. I love it.
You know what I just realized? I have to go and get something because I wanted to show you something that I hope will make you laugh. But I think you might think I'm a little creepy, but it's not creepy. It's just something I hope it makes you smile. So if you want to do some quick shout outs, it's literally there. I'm going to go grab it.
Okay, can I do that? Let me see.
Yeah, you take over.
How do I do it? Do I have to press here? All right. Someone's going to ask me a question here. Please say hi, Amani. Okay.
Did you get your shout outs in?
I got one shout out. I'm not very good. Hello. Hi, Abby.
They go by so quickly. That's the thing.
I know, but I think I've done something where I can only see two at a time.
Oh, that's the same here. You know what? If you take your
Oh,
finger, you
I
can
see. I
like
see.
scroll through it. Yeah, but it goes like really quickly.
Hello, Colin. Yeah. What's that hat from? I think it's Atlanta, and that's actually from when we were filming. When we met up that time.
Yeah.
That might have been the night before. Hi from France. How excited are you about Wizards? Pretty excited. I love you too, Taylor Gomez. Okay.
You're doing well.
Which was the hardest accent to learn and keep? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably, well, I had to do like a mild Chicago accent in The Right. And it was my first movie, so that was sort of like I wanted to make sure that I had it down. And I knew I could do an American accent, but then it was kind of, you don't. It's also you really, really don't want to sound Irish, because I notice that when I see people who can't really do accents that well, or you can sort of really pick up on it. So as long as people feel like they're okay, then that's if it doesn't click that it sounds really Irish, then I'm happy with it.
I've never heard. That's one thing. You're so good. Did you study phonetics in drama college or anything?
I
Like,
just no, not so
you
much.
just
No, we
yeah.
did. Like we did accent work, but to be honest with you, it's all just from being a kid watching movies and trying to sound like whoever, you know what I mean, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Like, and then you sort of begin to try to mimic them, and you know, like it just sort of, that's how it works. But I do genuinely believe this, that like in Ireland and England and stuff like that, it's easier for us to do those American accents than vice versa, because we grew up watching American TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like hardly any Americans, well, now with maybe normal people, but like hardly anybody ever watched Irish TV. And saw people that sound like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, and I think that the trick to accents is that you speak the way that you would normally speak, and you just add an inflection. You don't try and sound like what you think an Irish accent should sound like, or an American accent, because if somebody's pissed off, they sound pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is. They don't sound like, well, I'm so angry with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so if you get rid of the idea that you have to sound like the music of it and just say the lines, I always think it's more important to be able to say the lines first and foremost and get the intention of the scene across than worry about the accent. And then the accent kind of comes,
That's sort of like, I find that that's the magic of stepping into the shoes of the character that you're going to play, that you're beginning this journey of finding your way within that connection between you as an actor and your character that you're playing. That's where the magical, fun stuff happens. And like you, I agree. I have so much more fun when I can do an accent. That's when I feel like I'm really escaping into something different and something else.
So we just said like an over-egged British accent. Yes, exactly like an over-egged British accent. That's what happens when you play a 600-year-old pirate. You know what I mean?
Speaking of pirate, so look what I have. Okay, so this is my trinket box. Colin, I don't even know if you're going to remember this. So when I first started on Once, you and I had some lovely scenes together, and it was towards the beginning. And I know you were trying to distract me before we had to make our entrance, because you and Josh always, knew my weak spot, which was that I was a big corpser, and it didn't take much for me to giggle on set, which was so unfair. And so you put something in my hand. Now, just so you know how prized this trinket box is, I have in little shells Milo's baby teeth, Milo's baby hair. And what else do I have in this shell is what you put in my hand. the first time, just as I was about to rush onto set, I have to take it out very gently, and it's on a little shell. You put this flower in my hand. Do you remember? There's a picture of you and I where I'm holding it like this, and you're behind me going, and I'm like, this cheeky thing. Do you guys remember? You guys will know the picture.
Yeah.
So I kept that flower. Look.
Oh my God. Look at that.
That's your flower. And I kept it because it made me smile so much. And, you know, when you're new with a new family, I mean, you guys were all so lovely and so welcoming. I just thought, I want to keep that because that just symbolizes how much I love you and the whole gang, and how much fun we had. But yeah, that's a flower. And
That's crazy.
I
can't believe
Are you impressed?
I am actually very impressed. That's incredible.
I can't believe that it actually survived, and I didn't, you know, it didn't break or anything. I was ever so gentle with it. I said, no, this is going to be in my little trinket box so that every time I pull it out, and I make sure that Carl doesn't get into it because, you know, you might want to keep it at the bedside.
Did you put it in like a book or something? I had to take it back to Vancouver.
I did. I put it in my little book, and then I put some wrapping around it. So I had to be ever so gentle and careful, but it did dry so well. But I thought that was so sweet when you put that in my hand. I said, okay, I know he's trying to play a joke, but it's so sweet that it was a flower. It was a friendship flower. And I thought that was so lovely.
It was it was fully intentional to be that way.
You did. We had a lot of fun on set. Remember you juggling the oranges?
Yeah, I can juggle.
You can juggle. Is there any other tricks up your sleeve that we don't know about then that you've learned since?
There
is.
No, we'll move swiftly. On.
Well, you can always. We all know that you sing beautifully. So.
I do have to say, I can just see here, Louise Kiley just gave me a shout out, Drada, and so I'll have to give her a shout out. Who just got nominated for an Emmy for casting for Normal People. Hey Louise.
Yes, I saw that. That's so brilliant.
She just put on Drada because Louise lives in Drada, and we went to college together, drama school. So yeah,
I loved Normal People so much. I just finished binge watching it. Daisy, who plays Marianne, I acted with in Cold Feet, and she's so yeah, and she's so wonderful in it. If you guys haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It's, for those of you in America, it's on Hulu, and back home it's on BBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it not ITV?
Oh.
No, I have a feeling it might be ITV.
Was it ITV? Oh, maybe someone can look it up. I thought, do you have a computer? Because I don't.
I've got my computer here. I can look it up here.
She was so brilliant in it, but it makes me so happy. It warms my heart when such wonderful things happen to good people. And Daisy's so lovely and so sweet. It's so kind. She introduced me to Tame Impala, so I love her so much for that.
You can see it on ITV Hub.
Oh, it's ITV. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
It's ITV. It's not the B word. But it's absolutely brilliant. Oh my God. Just so good. And that was shot, which part of Ireland was that set in?
Set in Sligo and Dublin, I think.
Yeah, Dublin. Yeah, I wasn't sure where the other countryside. It was so beautiful. Yeah. I just love it so much. So much. It's probably one of my favorites. I'm so happy that they're getting a second series.
People say, "What kind of computer have you got, Colin?" Just a Mac.
A Mac.
There.
So other than you've been home, have you been able to catch up on a lot of things, besides obviously most importantly spending time with the family, but have there been things that you've been catching up on that you haven't had time to do before?
Yeah, just sort of like sorting out stuff to get rid of from the house, tidying up.
Doesn't it feel good? It's like Marie Kondo the whole house.
Yeah. It was we've been doing a lot of that, and just spending time with the kids at the back and playing and doing school, and yeah, just being, trying to be a good father and a good husband, and just, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, because normally what's been good too is that with the whole lockdown thing, you're not looking towards doing something else, which I find I've a habit of. I'll finish something and it'll be like 2 weeks, that's fine, and then about a week after that I begin to go, right, well, what's next? What's gonna, and now you can't, because you don't know what's going to be happening. So so it's great. There's a great sense of relief.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise, because that fear of missing out, none of us are missing out on anything right now, because we're almost asked to take this sabbatical for those of us who are blessed to be able to stay at home, and just be, because you hit it on the nose about, and I don't know if that's instinctively something that is very normal for us as actors, because we're self-employed, in and out constantly, between jobs. But it's always thinking 2 steps ahead. What am I going to do next? But what are you doing next? And that also comes from that cultural thing, even from journalists. When you do interviews, do you find some journalists, when I'm doing an interview, and I'll be talking about a project that I'm doing, and then I'll also talk about another project that I'm lucky enough to be doing. But then they'll ask, oh, great. And then what's next? Yeah. And then I happen to have a third thing going on, and they're like, great. And then what's next? I sat there and I was like, hang on a second.
I do think that's a strange question to ask actors who inherently are out of work as soon as they finish a job and have no idea what's happening next. Do you know what I mean? So you know, what type of roles do you think you want to do next? What's the plan? What's next? There's like, give me a job. If somebody can give me a job, I'll take that, you know. So
yeah, because there's so much that's within our control, but there's so much that's not in our control, and things that you sort of have to let go and just trust that they will fall into place as they do. It's so funny when you mentioned that you only had 2 days turnaround to go to Florida, and all of a sudden your life changes in a wonderful way as well. But nonetheless, you only have 2 days to get your head around everything that's happening. And besides the artistic stuff to think about, it's also very much navigating with your family about, how this is all going to work.
Yeah, like, I mean, look, the right stuff was something that had been on the go, on my radar for a while. I had a meeting at Appian Way 2 or 3 years ago, and they gave me the book before there was ever a script, whatever. And, you know, so it was, I knew the story, and I knew all that. But yeah, it was kind of, what I think was good about the fact that it was so quick was, and this is common knowledge, this is like, you know, that somebody else was supposed to play the role and had to, you know, sort of fall out of the part for whatever reasons, and which I'm disappointed for him, but very grateful for me. But it sort of took a little bit of the nerves away from taking on such a huge American hero. I mean, the Mercury 7 were at that point the most famous men on the planet. Yeah. Because nobody had ever, we're so used to having so many, you know, reality TV stars who are, you know, now world famous, whatever, but it was a completely different world back then. The only people who were world famous were presidents or, you know, movie stars. It wasn't even like, you know, and these guys became bigger than any of those 7 astronauts. You know, and nowadays, looking back on that, we don't know that. Yeah. You know, but so the good thing about only having a little bit of lead time in was that I actually, you know, I actually wasn't terribly nervous about it. I just was sort of like, I went into action mode where I was like, okay, well, what do I have to do to, you know, sort of make sure that I play the role as good as I can, you know.
Yeah. And it's also because you know that everyone's new and it's a new show, so you're all starting together, which is such a wonderful That's what makes it so special.
Yeah.
And not to take away from my experience when I joined Fear the Walking Dead, because I too only had literally a 2-day turnaround. And next thing I know, I'm on set. But my challenge was a little bit different, in the sense that it was joining a show that had already established its heartbeat, and its pace. And it's sort of like, I always use that analogy of double Dutch, jump rope, and sort of like, you know, knowing when to jump in and then keeping up with that rhythm. So I kind of just warned everyone, especially because I was doing American accent and all that, and all this jargon with my character. I just thought, well, I'm skating for the first time in this new apocalyptic world. I might brain fart a few times, but just work with me, and I'll find my grounding. But they were all so lovely, and just kind of, you know, cheered me on, which was so great. But that was like sort of a different sort of challenge to navigate through, because you just want everyone to, you know, hope and say, oh, I hope they like me, I hope I'm doing everything right. But to start a new show from its embryonic stage and then to see it grow, I think is just so special. I had that with Gallivant, which I absolutely loved. You would have been a fantastic Gallivant, by the way.
Oh, thanks very much.
Because you got the beard and everything too, and you can sing.
Yeah.
Have you been doing singing lately,
Colin?
Colin?
I've been feeling
Serenading Colin?
I've been singing a little bit. I've been practicing playing jazz, to be honest. That's what I've been sort of doing.
Have you told Carl this? Because you know Carl's his whole thing with music, his main love and passion is jazz.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh no, I didn't know. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
But no. So I've been trying to do that, because I never really had that much time to play, really, you know, for a long time. And so it's been nice to get to do that a little
with
bit.
You and your guitars. Oh, that's right. You and Carl have these long, you know, guitar boy conversations. He just picked up a new Gibson. I'm sure he'll be showing his beloveds to you.
I've got a few in here, but I won't. They're in here. I'm not going to show everybody around the room.
Everyone was waiting with bated breath just now to say, is Colin going to like maybe strum a few, you know, chords?
I can't, because the kids are in bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Good one. So, I'll take that, because the kids are sleeping. We don't want to wake them up.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine, right? I spent hours writing down all the wonderful questions that came in for you, and there's so many, like there's pages and pages, but because we can only do so much, I've picked a few, and I'm going to read out some of them.
Louise is texting me there. I'll text you back, Louise, when I'm finished. I'll take a look at the messages.
Hi, Louise.
Yes.
At hello_I'm_Teresa asks, Colin, what is the best advice you were given?
In life, or
yeah.
That's a fairly well. My parents always just told me to treat. I do think it is treat people the way that you would wish to be treated, and have respect and stuff. That's acting wise. I think the best advice I got was from Anthony Hopkins. He said to me on set, I was doing a scene. I was like a slow zoom into my eyes, whatever, and he was watching the screen and whatever. And he came over and he said, "Colin, do you mind if I give you some advice?" And I said, "No, please." And he said, "Don't do anything." He said, "You know what's going on." He said, "The audience, your face will be 20 feet. He said, the audience will see it in your eyes." And he was like, "Oh." So his thing was like, if you know what you're going to do, if you know what your intention is, people will read that from you. So that's probably
that's good advice.
Best piece of acting advice I got. Because he was like, he said, don't spoon feed your audience. He said, people have been communicating with their eyes since dawn of time. He said, you don't have to go. And he said his main bugbear was like, you know, people do this. Of course, I do an eyebrow thing and Once Upon a Time for ages, but it's like, you know, doing all this kind of stuff. And he's like, just be in the scene, you know.
That's such good advice. I received the exact same advice when I was doing the Jack Ryan movie and Kenneth Branagh was directing. And he said the very exact thing. I did something so slight, I couldn't even feel it. And I think it was my eyebrow too. And he said the same thing. He goes, Karen, let the camera do all the work coming in. You just keep still. And it was so funny because even the slightest thing, he'd be like, nope. I'd be like, oh. I'm like, okay. But he was so right. There's so much power between our eyes and the camera.
Yeah.
And that's such good advice. Gosh, Anthony Hopkins, Colin, that must have been such a trip.
It was a trip.
Yeah. Okay, who's next? At Hook. Now, I hope I'm saying this. At Hook's Patron Us. I love these. That's good. What's your best memory together on the OUAT set? Or what's your favorite memory? I know you can have so many. It's so tough.
I mean, that's a good one with the flower. I think that's probably, that is a good one. Karen is terrible for corpsing, like just loves to laugh. So, just can't help herself. But
well, does it help when you are like doing your like smolder and all that? You and Josh especially.
Yeah, well,
it's tricky.
no, I think that's a good, because I do remember that, and I think that's lovely. I do remember the scene where you and Aladdin were in the boat for some reason. I'm trying to think of what. I think I was high up, wasn't I?
Yeah, that's right. Were we on the submarine?
Yeah. Oh, there was another good one where the scene with Joanna Garcia and Odette Fair do you remember we were in the
cabin?
I think
or outside?
In the cabin. And I think that you and Joanna just couldn't stop laughing, I think, if I remember rightly.
You know why? Because Dennis was eating Raisin Bran very quietly when you guys passed out from Jafar's spell. And all of a sudden, Dennis's stomach was growling. So he had a Ziploc bag of Raisin
I remember
Bran.
that. He had the little Ziploc bag. I forgot about that, yeah.
All the time. And he was trying to like chew on it so quietly that Joanna and we just lost it. That was it. And so now his nickname to this day is Raisin Bran. That's what we call him, Raisin Bran. But do you remember when we were outside because it was so cold? I mean, I felt so bad because you couldn't wear any long johns underneath your, fancy pants. So, but I think, did you slip? It was so slippery. That patch where we were standing.
Yeah, I probably slipped. I think I probably did. I used to always slip because my shoes as well were sort of like boats. You know what I mean? And I used to slip all the time.
Oh, it was so cold that night. Gosh, I remember. I can still feel how cold it was, but we had such a laugh.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people asking here about my hair, and just to be clear, I haven't actually cut it, and that's why I'm wearing a hat. So I posted a picture of me with a ponytail, and then everybody's asking, "What's your hair like? What's your hair?" It's like, it's a mess. So.
Well, we've all got it. We've got pandemic quarantine hair.
I think your hair is fine, Karen. I think it looks good. So.
Really? You approve? I just put I don't blow dry my hair anymore now that I'm home. So I just kind of put some gunk in it and then hope for the best. But you can wear a cap and you still look great. Is your hair long now? Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think my fringe probably comes down to about there now.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Wow. You look like a total rock star then.
I do. I've got like proper. Let me see.
Is it proper long hair? Colin, have you ever had long hair? Oh wow! Yeah, but that looks so rock and roll.
I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna start a sort of a kind of a
See, that works.
extra band. So see, it's very long, so I need to cut it.
Yeah, but it looks good. It looks good. I thought like it was like super, super like mushroom cut.
No, it's not. No,
No.
it's not.
No,
No.
you've got the cool little. It's very Deuce,
It is. It is actually. Yeah.
isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You can say that you're like channeling into your inner Deuce.
It's for all the publicity for Wizards. I figured I'd get the same hair as
You're
Big C.
you're so committed. You're so committed. That's why
Yeah.
everyone loves you. At etc. etc. She asks, "Where is your happy place in your house, and why?
Oh, that's good.
What's your favorite
It's probably the bed because I go to sleep.
room?" You mean
know,
you don't get 4 a.m. wake-up calls anymore or anything?
not so much. No, now it's 6 a.m. But yeah, probably there. And I set up a little gym, so I like the gym as well, and where my guitars are. I like everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Gym, guitars, slumber. That's a good one. At sarah.lawler, let me say that again. At sarah.lawler14. Favorite part of Ireland for a staycation?
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, there's so many places.
Ireland's so beautiful.
I like up in Donegal for surfing and stuff like that. It's incredible. Sligo was great. Galway, Cork, just there's so many. Glendalough down around Wicklow. It's beautiful. Yeah, there's any amount of places. I think we're so blessed here with amazing places. Connemara, places that you can go visit, which are stunning.
Especially during the summer, I imagine, right? It's good to take maybe a few weeks to just kind of go all around Ireland.
Yeah, it's nice now. And obviously a lot of people are going to be doing that now. So, and the good thing about Ireland is that it's small enough that you can sort of do a road trip and you see so many different places. You look tired, Colin. It's because it's 10 o'clock at night. Thanks very much. But no, it's nice.
At Priscilla J15 asks, Colin, would you like to direct at some point in the future?
Yeah, I'd love to direct. I'd love to. It would have to be. I always kind of thought I would want it to be the right thing, that something I felt really passionate about. I think you can't I think you can't half-ass really directing. I know that sometimes people do, but you can, it's something that I think if you're going to do it, you need to be fully committed, because it's such a huge undertaking to direct, something. So, eventually I'll get around to it, I think, but it's about finding the right thing to do, really.
I think you'd be a brilliant director. Your attention to detail, your cheekiness, all of that. I feel like you'd be good. You'd be really good.
I think you're just being nice,
I would love to act with you directing.
Okay, you're
We're
in.
putting it out there into the universe. There is a really funny question, which I'm just reading out because it made me howl with laughter so much. At Phoenix 109 said, how would you like Princess Jasmine wearing black leather?
Well, I mean, the only answer to that is who wouldn't? Do you know what I mean? So,
I thought he's going to have a heart attack and not in a good way. So, okay.
How would you feel about Princess Jasmine wearing black leather?
What kind of show are we talking? It's like, you're making, you see this, I knew that question would make a brown girl blush. So that says a lot.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I have the leather pants there if you want them. So.
Do you still have your leather pants?
I do. I have my costume.
Do
Yeah.
you put it on sometimes, you know?
No. We were doing a Eurovision sort of Zoom call, and I put on some of it because it looked kind of Eurovision-y. But no, I haven't. I think I did it. I actually did do it for a call with some of my friends, their kids. So
Yeah.
I put it on once so that they could see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they'll love that. See, again, one day the kids are going to watch Once Upon a Time too, and they're going to see you being all cool looking in your leather trousers. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna. There's just so. I have a couple of more that I want to, because there's so many that are so good. But I think I will end. Bear with me, because there's so many. We talked about your hobbies, because at Irish_Ginger_Swan wanted to know what your hobbies were, and you love playing guitar. But do you cook?
I do cook.
You do cook, and you cook very well.
I cook okay, I think. Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite dish to make? Like that is Helen approved.
Well, I make really good pizzas, like from scratch with the homemade dough and sauce and all that.
You did post some photos in the past, didn't you? I'm pretty sure I saw them, and they did look yummy.
Yeah, I've just gotten a big smoker, so I'm learning how to do all that kind of stuff. So.
See, this is why I know why Carl loves you so much, because you're speaking his language the minute that you talk about having a smoker.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I just love to cook. I've always loved cooking. You know, sometimes it'll be good and sometimes not as good as I would hope. But yeah, I like I love anything that sort of takes time to make, and that there's like a finished thing at the end, you know. So I did a little bit of blacksmithing a few times, and it's a similar thing when you take something like that's not really useful in any kind of way, and you can turn it into, I don't know, like an axe or a knife or whatever, something that's useful. I love all that kind of stuff.
It's so therapeutic. I think that's what Carl says too. Whether you're creating something in the kitchen or, you know, just making things too. He finds it such a nice way to sort of take a deep breath, you know, from work, and just stepping aside from that. He's been painting a lot too, and he's been thoroughly enjoying it, just that whole process as well. I think because, you know, from reading different wellness newsletters, which I've been doing a lot of therapists have been saying that, you know, especially during a pandemic and being quarantined at home, it's very much finding things that bring joy to you, and not necessarily being goal oriented and thinking about the outcome. It's just more about the act of doing something that kind of brings you joy, that I think is so important to focus on, because we have the tendency, like we talked about earlier, about jumping to what's next, what can I get done, and all this. So it's been so nice to just sit down and be able to read a book. I haven't read a book in ages, and just to have that luxury of time of just opening a book and just reading has been so delightful. And also I fall asleep, I've realized, after 15 minutes of reading, because I don't have that regular exercise as I did when I was a kid, where I would just like read through a 250-page book in a day. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I'd be lucky if I get, you know. Are you reading any good books?
What am I reading at the minute? I'm actually reading a book that was given to my dad, and I don't know the name of it, but it's a comedy short stories that I think Paul Merton has put together. So it's all different, you know, famous authors, and it's quite big. But I just figured, similar to that, I'll fall asleep, so I want to have pretty quick. Sort of laugh, and you know, there's like Noel Coward and Oscar Wilde and all these different, you know, there's tons. So yeah, to kind of just sort of lighten things up a little bit.
And then to finally end, because I know it's getting late where you are too, love. what would you say that you could give best piece of advice to the gang on here on keeping their spirits up during these challenging times?
I mean, that's a tough one because, you know, everybody. I think it's important for people not to be too hard on themselves for feeling worried or scared or nervous or bored or anxious. You know, and I think that's probably a bit of advice I would say is like, don't be too hard on yourself because everybody's going through the same thing in some way, and it's easy to feel alone at times when you're on your own and you think it's just you. But you know, there are people who, you know, like, you know, my father's very, very sick and I couldn't see him and couldn't see, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, a lot of people are going through things. So it's okay to feel scared and to feel unsure of what's going to go on, and to accept that and know that at some point it'll pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Well,
makes sense.
I know Carl wanted to say bye to you before we go. I'm going to go get him.
Okay.
Some shout outs too.
Okay. Let's do some shout outs. Here we go.
Come say bye.
That's a great bit of advice. Thank you. Oh, I don't know what that says. Hold on. I have to scroll down. I'm really bad at this. I'm bad at
They
giving
go by
shout-outs.
so quickly. You got coffee again. And you're
Hi,
still
Matt.
wearing the
I'm
Colin
still wearing
Farrell shirt.
I kind of grew a little bit fond of this now, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
He's
Good.
got
How are you?
guitars. He's in his guitar room. Oh,
I'm not in the guitar room. I'm close to. I just have some in this area. Hold on. I'm gonna show. I don't want people to see around my house. So
What you get?
I have
well, the last
this
one.
Gibson here, and I've got this Gibson here. It's my cabinet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
And I've got a Spanish guitar there. And I've got a
Ooh,
mandolin.
that's
So,
pretty.
Very nice.
but this isn't the guitar room.
I love, though, that you have guitars there. You're the same. You've got guitars all...
Guitars everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a ukulele and an AC30 over there in the corner as well. So.
And Colin's been listening and playing a lot of jazz music.
Oh, good.
I've been trying to go over some jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your jazz band then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when we're gonna hit the road.
Yeah. And we all have to dress as a different Colin Farrell character from each of his different movies.
You do that. I thought you were going to still keep the hook in honor of your dear
to be
friend.
honest, as much as I love that tank top, but it's squeezing in my fat. So that I prefer this. This is actually a large one.
Okay, so what you have to do next is you have to. So he made this shirt, by the way. So he needs to.
I have stuff. I can do stuff like that, you know.
So the next one you have to do
Not
is
just
put.
pretty face.
But you have to put actually Colin's face now on that.
I will. Trust me. I'm going to send one for you, actually.
Yeah, well, you send one to me, and you can send some. I said to Karen, you owe me one now, curry wise, with after introducing me as Colin Farrell. You need to go all out.
You owe him a big curry face.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yes. It'll be my pleasure.
I know. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, that's if. Who knows when we'll all get back over to LA, or I get over there. Who knows what way it's going to be.
I know, but you know the wonderful thing about our jobs too is that you'll call me and you'll say, "Hey, I'm in Atlanta. Are you here?"
Yeah.
Or, but maybe it'd be really great if we could just bring you to the Apocalypse in Austin. Ian and Andrew are the show running that. So that would be nice if in between your astronaut adventures that you could come to the Apocalypse and
maybe I could be a zombie in an episode. Maybe I could just be a.
You know what? I looked into that, but it's not as easy as you might think. You have to go to zombie school and everything, all sorts of stuff.
Listen,
like
Carl.
Yeah.
I'm trained. Okay.
Maybe you can teach me then.
It's not
Yeah,
that
but
easy.
Colin, you'd be such a like the most good-looking, gorgeous, handsome zombie that I don't think anyone would want to slay you. That kind of defeats the purpose.
It's true.
It's true. I feel like you'd still, as a zombie, you would still have the rock star hair.
I'd have to
guy
keep this
liner.
long hair. So
Yeah. And the guy liner. You know, you'd be a cool looking zombie, but
the only difficulty is that my eye would be dangling out my eye socket.
I was hoping you'd say that, actually. Yes. Because I want my eye to be dangling out as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Milo's gonna say bye, and please give our love to Helen. Say hi.
All right. Hello, Milo.
Where's no? You got
Hold
one
on,
or two
I'll get him.
dogs.
I'll get him in. I'll get him in.
Yay! And thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with Colin and I and Coffee with Carl.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
your fantastical intro.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Yay! See? Colin's gonna get
I'll be good.
Ah,
There he is.
And this is Buckley, right?
That's Buckley. Buckley got a haircut, so he's not as
Yay!
not as hairy, and he's getting old. Look, he's getting grey. Aren't you, pal?
How old is Buckley now?
He is going to be 9 in October.
Oh, he looks good.
Get your paw off the computer.
Oh, so good. I love this so much. Okay, well, we're sending... You got to come in so that they can see. We're sending tons of love to you and Helen and the kids.
And it's
we
good to
miss
see you
very
guys.
much.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to catch up properly soon. And yeah,
that
good.
would be lovely. And
Great stuff.
yeah, that'd be good, love. And in the meanwhile, congrats on all your endeavors. I think, like I said, it's just so wonderful when such wonderful things happen to good people, and you are such a stellar human, love. So you deserve all these blessings.
Likewise.
Too.
Thank you so much.
what she said.
Was she?
I know you miss me, Carl. I know you do. I get it. All right, guys. Love you loads. Good to see you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.